Hey, this is Mike for the Run Testers. These are the Suunto Sonic, Suunto's second pair of open-ear bone conduction headphones. Now, myself and Tom have both been long testing the Sonic, which are the follow-up to the Suunto Wing, which we reviewed on the channel last year. Now, with the Sonic, there definitely are some changes. It definitely has pared down, slimmed down those features and the design as well. I'm going to take you through what you need to know about the Sonic, how it compares and how it differs to the Wing, get you into those all important running thoughts, and then let you know whether you should buy the Suunto Sonic, whether these are a good option for runners, and whether these are a good alternative to Shokz's extensive bone conduction open ear range. So here's your lowdown on those key Suunto Sonic stats. It's priced at £129 in the UK or $149 in the US, but can currently be found for £85 in the UK from Suunto's own website. That launch price puts it up against other bone conduction headphones like the Shokz OpenRun, which has also dropped below its £130 launch price. These are neckband style headphones with an IP55 water resistant rating and weigh in just slightly lighter than the pricier Suunto Wing. You've got a set of physical buttons and dual microphones to handle calls with a mode to help combat windier outdoor conditions. They use bone conduction with Suunto adding in a new transducer to boost bass and reduce sound leakage overall. There's 2 sound modes available from the companion Suunto app, which also lets you enable pairing to 2 Bluetooth devices at the same time. Battery life is up to 10 hours at 60% volume with a quick charge mode included, though lacks the portable charging setup featured on the Suunto Wing.
So there's definitely going to be a lot of similarities with the Shokz bone conduction headphones in this review. The Suunto Sonic, very, very similar to the design of most of the Shokz headphones. As a result, I really like it. I'm a big fan of the Shokz design. This is almost identical to the Shokz design. The feel of them on the head, the shape of them, the way it fits against the ears and everything. The design is very, very comparable and is a good design. It's a very nice design for bone conduction headphones. I've not had any issues with the fit or anything like that. Found to be very comfortable. So no issues at all. I think it's very, very good. And if you're used to wearing Shokz, you won't be surprised by the design of these. The controls, equally very, very similar to what you'd expect from the Shokz, almost identical. You've got this multifunction button on the left-hand side, which works really, really well. I like it as it's just the right size. It's very easy to find when you're running. Click it once to pause it, click it a couple of times to skip the track. Works very well, no problems at all with that control. The other controls on the other side, they sit underneath. They're quite easy to find. I quite like the shape and the design of these buttons, so you can turn it off quite easily and turn it on quite easily. So for me, controls are absolutely perfect for what you want from these. Very simple, but you can actually use this button on the left to do a lot more if you want to learn how to do it. But really, for most people, you can stick them on. It's very, very easy to work out how to use these headphones.
So in terms of design fit and what it's like to wear the Suunto Sonic, I think it's been very good for me overall. No major issues to report. These are kind of neckband style design headphones, which are, you know, typically what we see from bone conduction headphones in general. It's kind of that wraparound style. It's got titanium in terms of that build, and then you've got some silicone to kind of make sure it sits comfortably and not putting metal against the sides of your head. You've got some buttons here, physical buttons. There's some on the underside of the arm, so you've got ones for kind of a volume rocker and the kind of on-off and pairing button, and then you've got a multi-function button here. So very similar to what we see on Shokz's headphones in terms of those controls, and I think from a Shokz point of view, it's very similar in terms of experience of using those buttons. On slower and faster runs, they're well positioned, and I think they're easy to kind of use overall. They are pretty light and comfortable. I think the weight is very similar to what we get on the Shokz OpenRun. They're a little bit lighter than the Suunto Wing headphones. There are some changes from the Suunto Wing from a design point of view. You are getting a downgrade in terms of the kind of overall durability. So they're dust and sweat resistant, but you can't kind of run them under a tap like you could with the Suunto Wing, and they get a bit sweaty. You are, I think, probably more importantly, or a little bit more disappointingly, I would say, is that you're losing out on the kind of portable charger that we got with the Suunto Wing, which just made it a little bit easier to kind of charge. It was still obviously a proprietary kind of charging setup, but just nice to kind of drop them in with the Suunto Wing and charge them, and you can charge them on the go. It's a proprietary charging cable, but similar to what we see on a lot of Shokz's headphones. So, you know, you're going to have carry a cable around to charge these. But from a design point of view, been absolutely fine. I think, as I said, very much in keeping with other kind of open ear bone conduction neckband style design headphones. You're just going to see a downgrade in durability and losing out on that charger, or that kind of portable charger that you get with the Suunto Wing.
Okay, so the sound quality of these. The sound quality of bone conduction headphones recently has got a bit better and louder. It's not necessarily got better in terms of the sound being significantly more enjoyable when you're out on the run, but they have got louder. With the Shokz OpenRun Pro, I found that I can actually listen to podcasts and things on those with those headphones now, and it's fine unless I'm on a ridiculously busy road. So they do. These are comparable with the Shokz OpenRun Pro when it comes to sound levels. I can listen to podcasts with these absolutely fine, no issues at all. I don't think the sound quality is as good as the OpenRun Pro. OpenRun Pro is more expensive, so you would expect that. It's not miles away. I think it is pretty comparable with the OpenRuns. But to be honest, when it comes to things like bass and stuff like that, I don't think it's got a particularly impressively wide range of sounds on the Sonic. But it's absolutely fine. If you're looking at this level of headphone, you're not going to be disappointed by the sound quality that you're getting from the Suunto Sonic. I think it's very good, and definitely a lot louder than I was expecting from the headphones. The other thing I say as well is that because I'm always listening to these at top volume, because whether I'm listening to music or if I'm listening to audiobooks or podcasts, I do get a lot of tickle, and I don't get tickle from the recent OpenRun Pros, which it's a bit annoying when you start off. For the first maybe 5 minutes, it's a bit annoying, and you're sort of scratching your ear a little bit because it's tingling. It stops after a bit. I didn't notice it after on a longer run, but you do get a little bit more tickle on these than you get on the Shokz equivalents.
Into that all-important sound quality. Now, these are bone conduction headphones, so you're not going to get the best sound performance that you would get from an in-ear set of headphones or a kind of closed-ear set of headphones, where you're really going to be able to neutralize that sound. You're not going to be battling with exterior sounds as much as you would do with a pair of bone conduction headphones. This is about giving you a balance, keeping you aware of your surroundings, and that's what the Suunto Sonic, like a lot of bone conduction headphones, want to achieve. Now, I think it's fair to say with the Suunto Wing, we were a little bit disappointed with the sound performance, particularly considering how much those headphones cost. Now, the Suunto Sonic is a bit more competitively priced against other bone conduction headphones. There are some changes here in terms of how it delivers that bone conduction sounds. There is a change in terms of the transducers that Suunto's using here. And that is integral to the process of delivering that bone conduction and how that bone conduction technology works. Translating vibrations that go up towards your cheekbones, up towards your ears, and delivering or converting that into sound. So with that new transducer, Suunto is promising enhanced bass performance and also reduced kind of noise leakage as well compared to the Suunto Wing. They also get into different sound modes, which was similar to what we had on the Suunto Wing. So you've got a normal mode, which is generally for that kind of everyday scenario, mainly for using them indoors if you're going to use them indoors. And then you've got an outdoor mode, which is pretty self-explanatory. What that does is kind of elevate the overall loudness. You should see a little bit more in terms of that bass performance as well. Now, in terms of the sound quality here on the Suunto Sonic, I would say that it has been better for me than the Suunto Wing. I think it's a bit more in keeping with headphones like the Shokz OpenRun. There's a few other cheaper brands like Halo, which I've used, and I think it's very much in keeping with that sound. Is it as good as those headphones in terms of overall sound quality? I wouldn't say that. I would say that it definitely is a little bit more balanced than the Suunto Wing. I definitely think when you are outside, you need to use that outdoor mode. It does give you that kind of notable kind of uptake in terms of volume. I think there is a little bit of a better kind of bass performance as well. There is a little bit more of that rumble in terms of that bass. You're getting that bone conduction kind of vibration and kind of tickle that you do get at louder volumes, but it's not as severe as I've experienced on other headphones. So that's a good thing as well here. I think in terms of I listen to a range of things. I run kind of more tempo stuff. I do listen to podcasts as well. And I think in terms of handling those kind of things, they've been absolutely fine for me. Would I say there has the same level of clarity and finesse as things like the Shokz OpenRun Pro, Pro 2, the Bose Ultra Open? Possibly not, but I think it's not too far off, probably just below that for me. But overall, it's been very enjoyable to use these. I felt like these have felt more balanced and overall just delivering a slightly better sound than the Suunto Wing. Definitely much in keeping with headphones that sit around the price of the Suunto Wing. I think to talk about connectivity, you are getting some multi-point connectivity, so you can pair them to two devices at the same time. You've got to enable that in the app. I think connectivity across devices has been fine for me. I've used it with an iPhone, I've used it with an Android phone, I've used it paired to a Garmin watch, an Apple Watch, and connectivity across the board has been very good for me. So, no kind of issues for me on that side of things. In terms of things like that reduced noise leakage, you are still going to get some leakage here with these headphones. Whether it is, better, I think there's a small amount in it, but these are ultimately going to be headphones that, are going to leak some sound. I think the other thing to talk about here is the kind of vibrations you get, or that kind of, we know it as bone conduction tickle. So when you kind of listen at louder volumes, you kind of see the vibration of the technology. And I do think you still get that a little bit at louder volumes. It's not too severe, or wasn't severe in the sense that it felt uncomfortable to use them, but that's something to keep in mind with these headphones. I think in bone conduction headphones in general, but it wasn't too bad, but there definitely is some of that vibration tickle to contend with here on the Suunto Sonic.
Battery life, I have had a problem with these. So I've been using these for quite a long time now, probably about 2 or 3 months, and I've used them for a lot of runs. Recently, I've been training for Valencia Marathon, so I've been doing a lot of long runs, and the last one I did was a 3-hour long run. And what I found is even though these were fully charged, they ran out at about 2.5 hours, which goes quite far against the 10-hour battery life that I was expecting. Previously, when I've been out for the run, they haven't run out, but what I've heard is this, it gives you a notification saying the battery's going low, and I have heard that a few times when I've been out on the run, even though I've charged it. So I'm presuming that the reason for that, or partly the reason for that, is that I've been listening at full volume the whole time, but that does seem like a pretty big drop from that 10 hours that you'd be expecting from these, because when it comes to the Shokz ones, I always listen to those at full volume as well, and they're much closer to the full battery life that they state.
So battery life on the Suunto Sonic has been pretty good for me. It hasn't been outstanding. It hasn't been groundbreaking in terms of pushing the boundaries of what we can expect from bone conduction headphones. Now Suunto promises up to 10 hours, and that is with, when you're listening at kind of 60% volume, so not at your full volume. And why that is crucial is that when you are listening at louder volumes, and this is kind of applicable to all bone conduction headphones, is that you will see a more severe drop in battery life. Now when you are listening at kind of 60% volume, which is not very loud, and when I've done that for kind of an hour's worth of running, a drop has been about 10%, so that kind of does add up. But a lot of the times I would listen at much louder volume, particularly when you are using them outside for runs, and it's definitely going to see that battery life, or overall battery life, drop to probably kind of 6 to 7 hours. So that is a bit further off that kind of 10 hours, and that's something to keep in mind here. I think if you are running throughout the week, then it's probably going to be fine. If you're doing 30 minutes to an hour, and maybe a few times a week, it's probably going to be absolutely fine. But yeah, when you are listening at louder volumes, the battery life drop is going to be more severe. Crucially, you do have a fast charge mode, which does help in terms of when you are seeing that kind of more severe battery drop. You have a very good effective fast charging mode here. As I said, you don't get that kind of charging portable charge that you do get with the Suunto Wing, but if you can live with that and you can use that, and happy to use that kind of proprietary charging cable, you are going to get a fast charging mode, which means that if you do forget to charge them, it's not going to take long to kind of power them up and give you enough for a few hours of running.
So my verdict on the Suunto Sonic, I think they're very good. I think if you're comparing these with the more premium bone conduction headphones that are out at the moment, which would be the Shokz OpenRun. The Shokz OpenRun Pro is a lot more expensive than these, so it's a more expensive level of quality and sound and everything that you're getting. But if you're comparing them with the OpenRuns, very similar. I think if you're a big fan of Suunto and you like the design of these, the green, they do come in a couple of other colours as well. I don't think there's a lot you're missing out on by getting these over the Shokz OpenRuns. But the problem is that is that battery life. And I daren't even use these for my long runs now because I'm having that problem with the battery life. I had a pretty boring run when I was out doing that 3-hour run because I had half an hour of just running, listening to my own thoughts. So I would say that apart from that battery life, these are comparable with the Shokz OpenRun, and I'd be happy with getting either of those. But because of the battery life, it's a bit of a loss for me on these. So it might be an issue with my ones. I'm not sure if Mike's had the same problem, but because of that, I'm not a big fan of using these for any run over like an hour and a half.
So my view on the Suunto Sonic and whether these are a good option for runners is that I would say these are a better option for runners than the Suunto Wing, which I think with the Suunto Wing, Suunto got the price pretty wrong. I think they were too expensive and they didn't deliver enough in terms of the sound performance and everything else and all those kind of extra features that you got. Now with the Suunto Sonic, it stripped things back, but I think in return you are getting a lighter, more comfortable, set of bone conduction headphones. I think the sound quality is a lot better and more in keeping with the competition. Now, are these better than Shokz's headphones, things like the Bose Ultra Open, which are obviously more expensive than the Suunto Sonic? From a sound performance, I don't think they are. I think they're just below things like the Shokz OpenRun Pro, OpenRun Pro 2, and the Bose Ultra Open. If you want balance, kind of clear, very versatile sound, and I think those other headphones are going to get you that. I think these sit just below those headphones, but my experience has been very good overall with them. And as I said, I do think it is a improvement on what we got on the Suunto Wing. The key thing for me here is the price. Now, I've seen these drop to £85. I think they're kind of sitting there at £85 at the moment. If you can pick them up for below £100, then I think they're well worth picking up, particularly if you didn't want to spend as much money on a pair of Shokz headphones. As I said, I think they're probably closest to things like the Shokz OpenRun, but if you can't get those for less than £100 and you're looking for an alternative, I think absolutely go for these. From a design, comfort point of view, the sound quality, the battery life, the connectivity side of things, you're getting a lot that's very good here on the Suunto Sonic. So I do think these are a good option for runners. If you can get them for less than £100, where they are sat at the moment, absolutely a good option. Are they better than the best here in this category? Possibly not, but I think they are much better kind of alternative to those headphones, particularly when you see what we got with the Suunto Wing. So there you have it. That is our multi-tester take on the Suunto Sonic. Now, if you've got any questions about these headphones or any other running headphones that we've tested on the channel, maybe you want to see how this compares to another pair, do let us know in the comments. As always, like and subscribe, hit that little bell to find out about our latest videos. And yeah, we'll see you for the next Run Testers video.